In a small square in the western district of the big tech city of Neo-Tokyo, Kai Koguma meets up with her friend and reveals that she has managed to get 2 tickets to a big music concert after hacking the sales website. Excited, Ayumi asks the girl to accompany her to the event, and although reluctant, the young hacker accepts the invitation. Soon after, the young woman asks her friend to try and get some illegal substances, called highway, so that they can consume them during the concert. Ayumi explains that in recent days, the police departments that arrest such substances have been threatened with being shut down, which has made officials increasingly desperate and they have begun to step up enforcement. With that, the girl asks Kai to go to the central district, where she can use her hacker skills to find the substances. Just then, Ayumi realizes that her parents have arrived at the park to pick her up, and asks her friend not to disappoint her, as she is counting on her. Sometime later, Kai walks down one of the city's alleys, where she meets the supplier of the substances, and after buying her highway, the young woman notices that a group of policemen have managed to track down the seller, who runs off in desperation. Frightened, the girl tries to flee, but is quickly captured by the authorities, and in order to escape, she uses her hacker watch to break into the police's devices, causing them to be stunned by the flashlights. Thanks to this, Kai manages to escape the scene, and runs through the streets while hacking the ID tag of a woman inside a restaurant, so that she can take a cab without being detained by the authorities. Now that she is safe, the young woman sets off in the direction of her district, but ends up being intercepted by a mysterious group, who manage to capture her. During the trip, Hugo and Spoke try to interrogate the girl, who decides to propose a deal to them, saying that if they decide to release her, she won't report them to the authorities, as they could be eliminated for their crimes. Realizing that they might be caught, Hugo convinces his teammates to free the young woman, suggesting that she accompany them on their mission, where they intend to rob the city's container trucks. As they approach the vehicles, Watari asks Kai to return her ID tag, and the hacker realizes that she was still impersonating the woman all this time. The driver quickly uses her control panel, allowing her to hack into the systems of the technological walls and open a new path to continue her journey, crossing the city's security barriers. Upon arriving at the site, the group meets Watari's father, and during their conversation, they come across Yuji, who works in the city's digital department. At this point, the members reveal that they are part of the Suma Garage, an organization that carries out various deliveries and missions for the city's departments, using their hacking skills. Soon after, the woman reveals that 5 children have been brought to her building because they don't have identification tags. For this reason, Yuji concludes that the children will probably be deported, and in order to prevent this, the team will have to take them to a shelter so that they are safe. Trying to find a way to transport all the members of the group, Hugo suggests that they use the old man's car, which will allow everyone to get to the site safely. During the journey, the team reaches the city of Tokyo, where Watari is preparing to hack into the systems and open a passage in the technological wall of the highways. Meanwhile, Hugo offers one of his highways to Kai, revealing that the substance is actually an ordinary candy, and upon hearing this, the girl accepts the candy from the young man. Suddenly, the old man takes a wrong turn and is detected by the security curtains, forcing the group to dodge the other vehicles and pass through the scanners. When they spot children without their tags, the systems activate alert mode and send several vehicles to chase the runaways. Realizing that they have no other chance of escape, Watari begins to crash into the trucks around them, generating a chain of accidents that covers all the roads in the area, allowing the group to escape from their pursuers. Despite having damaged his vehicle, the woman orders her father to continue his journey, and asks Hugo to prepare their escape bikes. With that, the group races down the highway on their tuned motorcycles, but during the chase, Kai notices that one of the children, who is being taken by Watari, is extremely frightened, and hands over her candy to calm the kid down. Noticing that his friends are being chased by the traffic machines, Spoke uses his brakes to crash into the vehicles, allowing the rest of his team to continue their escape. A few seconds later, Hugo and Kai are overtaken by the robotic wheels, which try to prevent them from passing, and in order to escape the ambush, the man makes several jumps over the trucks, managing to reach the other side safely. The problem is that some vehicles are still chasing the duo, and so that he can help his friends, Spoke unleashes an attack on one of the enemies with his motorcycle, destroying his targets. Soon afterwards, Hugo notices that the road is becoming more and more closed, and slides under the trucks. Finally, the trio meet at the edge of the highway, where they make a huge leap into the air and land on one of the city streets, escaping their pursuers. When they arrive at the Suma garage base, the girl realizes that one of the children, who was being taken by Watari, isn't there, as he was captured and eliminated by the police, who, on finding the highway on his body, discover that the boy had a connection with Kai's group. Sometime later, the young hacker reveals that she doesn't want to be at the side of a group of fugitives, and after promising not to tell anyone about the criminals, she leaves. Saddened, the young woman returns to her apartment, but as she walks through the corridors, she comes across some footprints on the floor, and concludes that she is being followed by the police. So Kai tries to escape through one of the building's exits, but to no avail, and when she arrives outside, she is quickly cornered by Yoshiaki, who kneecaps the young woman. Soon afterwards, the detective hits the hacker with another of his kicks, and after realizing that she is about to be captured, the girl escapes under the vehicles and flees the scene. After the chase, Kai realizes that during the escape, she managed to hack into Yoshiaki's tag system and obtain information about the case they are investigating. When she discovers that one of the children has been eliminated by the man, the girl is furious and decides to return to the Suma garage so that she can warn the team. Startled by the sudden news, Yuji tells her that Yoshiaki is codenamed Lizard and is an extremely dangerous agent who has already tracked down and neutralized several targets around Tokyo, so they should stay as far away from the investigator as possible. With that, Kai decides to leave, but Hugo asks her to stay at the secret base, and after eating, the young woman accompanies him to the garage. While watching the motorcycles, the pair are surprised by Watari, who tells them that one of the children has disappeared from the shelter, and asks her teammates to try to make the deliveries themselves so that she can investigate the situation. Upon hearing this, Hugo says that it won't be a problem, and invites Kai to accompany him on his mission, as they will be safer if they stay together. With no other option, the young woman decides to accept the invitation, and after reuniting with Spoke in the truck, the trio sets off towards the Eastern District, where they will have to cross 2 city security barriers. With that, the group arrives at the site, and after collecting the cargo, they place it inside a floating protective box, which is attached to Hugo's motorcycle. At the same time, the young man asks Kai to prepare to open a passage in the security walls, and to use the tag that is positioned on the crate they are carrying. Without wasting any time, the group begins the delivery, performing various maneuvers and shortcuts through the streets of the city. Quickly, Kai uses her hacker skills to break into the security systems, and after opening a crack in the center of the track, the trio manages to pass through the barriers with ease. Halfway there, Spoke ends up colliding with some chains in one of the alleys, causing one of the wheels of his motorcycle to be destroyed. Despite this, the young man tells them that they have no time to lose, and orders Kai to hold the capsule with her arms, while Hugo drives quickly towards the delivery point. After a few minutes, the couriers reach the second barrier of scanners, and thanks to the young woman's device, they pass through the digital wall in a few seconds, delivering the cargo. At the end of the day, Hugo and Kai realize that they have forgotten Spoke, who has been waiting for his teammates since the moment of the accident, and the hacker decides that she will go and get him. Sometime later, the pair return to the secret base, but when they notice that Hugo is no longer there, they start looking for the young man, and the woman says that she discovered new information about the deceased boy. Watari explains that the biker is probably trying to investigate the case of the deceased child, since the day before the disposal took place, the victim was picked up by someone and taken elsewhere. The woman also concludes that Yoshiaki may be involved in the case of the missing child, as they are frequently being tracked down by him. The next day, the members of the Suma garage continue to repair their customized vehicles when they are surprised by Watari. Discouraged, the woman reveals that she couldn't find any more clues about the boy's disappearance, since she had managed to collect very little information. Hugo asks his friend to provide him with the data she has found, after which he gets on his motorcycle and leaves the scene. At the same time, a mysterious girl parks in front of the Suma garage, and Spoke says that she is Amarin Lu. The young woman is a Tokyo Warp racer, the biggest race in the region, where humans and artificial intelligence machines compete in a motorcycle race. After introducing themselves, Amarin Lu invites Kai to watch the competition, as the hacker seems to be a big motorcycle enthusiast, just like the rest of her friends. So the trio set off in the direction of Tokyo Warp, where all the competitors are preparing for the start of the big race. Meanwhile, Watari continues her search for the missing boy, and when she discovers that her teammates aren't making the day's deliveries, the woman is furious and orders Spoke and Kai to set off on their mission immediately. Far from there, Hugo drives to one of the warehouses in the Eastern District, but while investigating the place, he is surprised by an intruder, who manages to immobilize him, believing him to be one of Yoshiaki's employees. However, the delivery man claims that he is not working alongside the detective, and that his group is the man's #1 target. The problem is that all the freeways are blocked for the competition, but the biker is not discouraged, and says that they will have to cross the road before the runners end up getting in the way of their deliveries. After quickly passing through the competitors, the delivery men use the city's canals to continue their route, and soon after, Kai discovers a new way of deciphering the street schedule, allowing the pair to take numerous shortcuts along the way. Suddenly, the young woman realizes that one of the lanes is blocked, and she uses her hacker skills to manipulate the express lanes, lifting them several meters above the ground. Thanks to this, the pair manage to reach the main road and make it as far as the Eastern District, while Amarin Lu continues her competition in the Tokyo Warp. Back in the race, the final corners become increasingly dangerous, with several motorcycles crashing across the track, and in order to avoid being hit by the debris, Amarin Lu uses the full capacity of her vehicle, accelerating absurdly. Shortly afterwards, the runner makes one last pit stop, at which point the pair return to the stands and throw one of their highways at their friend, shouting for her to win the competition. With that, Amarin Lu returns to the racetrack extremely focused, and after taking the lead in the placings, she manages to cross the finish line, finishing the Tokyo Warp in first place. Now that they have completed another one of their deliveries, Spoke decides to take Kai back to the Suma garage and starts teaching his friend how to ride her newest tuned motorcycle. At this point, Watari communicates with her teammates and reveals that Yoshiaki is responsible for all the incidents that have taken place in recent weeks, where they have faked the perishment of countless people in order to continue the police investigation. Worried, the pair try to understand the reason behind all those crimes, without even imagining that they are about to become the macabre detective's next targets. Sometime later, the members of the Suma garage talk to Yuji about Yoshiaki, and conclude that their delivery services should be temporarily halted, lest they be captured by the investigator. Upon hearing this, Kai says that she wanted to go to a girl band concert, as her friend Ayumi had asked her to accompany her, but the bikers tell her that this won't be possible, and order her to stay in the garage. However, the young woman insists on going to the event, and so that he can protect her, the old man gives the girl one of his defense devices. On the other side of the district, Hugo gathers some information from the mysterious man, and after leaving, the young man receives an alert from his teammates, who reveal that Kai is setting off alone in the direction of the show. In the middle of the musical event, the young hacker tries to convince her friend to leave, and when they discover that the criminals have been tracked down, the police decide to rush to the scene. Suddenly, Ayumi is taken away from Kai, who tries to catch up with her but realizes that the police are already at the show, looking for her. Desperate, the hacker runs to one of the exits of the stadium, where she sees her friend being captured and taken away by one of the vehicles. In order to rescue Ayumi, Kai decides to get on her tuned motorcycle and chase the criminals, but she ends up being intercepted by Hugo, who tries to calm her down, saying that his teammate still doesn't have enough skills to save the girl. Despite this, the young woman doesn't listen to him and leaves immediately afterwards, prompting Hugo to alert the members of the Suma garage, who, upon discovering the girl's whereabouts, decide to stop their friend. Kai quickly travels the city streets trying to catch up with Ayumi, and uses her hacker skills to block road crossings, preventing her teammates from intercepting her. After a few minutes, the young woman arrives at an abandoned parking lot, and after getting off her motorcycle, she starts looking for her friend, and tries to break into one of the warehouses. As she does so, Kai comes across several armed people who start shooting around the place, and in order to avoid being hit, the girl tries to hide behind one of the doors. Realizing that the shooting is over, the young woman sneaks into the abandoned warehouse, where she finds several bodies of people who have been eliminated, one of them being the man who had captured Ayumi. Soon after, Kai comes across her friend hiding behind the rubble and asks what happened there. Frightened, Ayumi reveals that she had made a deal with the criminals, who would spare her life if she managed to lure the hacker to the warehouse, and upon hearing this, Kai is completely stunned. At the same time, Spoke and Watari arrive at the scene, and after rescuing their friend, they start to leave, only to be intercepted by members of the police. Now that he can finally surround his targets, Yoshiaki hits the pair of delivery men with his tracer ammunition and prepares to finish off the group. At that moment, Hugo appears through one of the windows on his motorcycle, and after stunning the agents so that his allies could escape, he throws a flammable tank in Yasumoto's direction, causing a huge fire in the warehouse. However, before they could escape the ambush, the pair were intercepted by Yoshiaki, who, after knocking the young man down, hit his leg with another of his technological projectiles. Furious at everything the man has caused in their lives, Hugo goes after the evil agent, who shoots the biker once more. Desperate, Kai decides to use the device she got from Watari's father, and by pulling the cord, the girl manages to disable all the weaponry in the place. Soon after, the hacker plugs her device into the detective's gun, causing an electrical explosion, which allows the delivery men to escape without being finished off by the police. At the hospital, the members of the Suma garage are waiting for Hugo to recover, but they are suddenly surprised by the arrival of Watari's father, who is accompanied by Yoshiaki. The detective explains that after investigating the place where the men who captured Ayumi were eliminated, he discovered that the group is not the real culprit for the crimes that are taking place around the city. What's more, Yoshiaki says that the bikers won't be able to return to their garage, as it will have already been completely emptied by the police team. With this, the man begins to analyze the map of the city, and tries to find a safe zone, as he believes that the group should settle in a place where traceability will not be able to reach them. Upon hearing this, Kai suggests that they travel to one of the outlying towns, and everyone agrees with the girl's idea. So the team sets off for a remote area of Tokyo, and during the journey, Spoke begins to interrogate the detective and asks why the man is helping them. Yoshiaki says that on the night of the concert, they were chasing a large group of criminals through the area, who were being tracked by the police. After the confrontation they had in the middle of the warehouses, the detective began to analyze the bodies of the criminals who had been eliminated, and realized that those responsible for all those crimes were extremely trained professionals. With that, Yoshiaki asks if the group's devices have been hacked in recent days, and Kai reveals that when she managed to hack Watari's tag, she noticed that the device had already been compromised before. Upon hearing this, the investigator claims that the members of the Suma garage have been under surveillance for a long time, and their actions have been perfectly manipulated so that they are made out to be the culprits of the sudden crimes. At this point, Watari realizes that Yuji is the real culprit for all the problems the group has faced recently, and Yoshiaki explains that what makes the woman extremely dangerous is her holographic map, which allows her to observe the whole of Tokyo simultaneously. Realizing that her targets are moving away from the city, Yuji asks the ministry director for permission so that she can manipulate all the vehicles in the area and detect the biker gang. Looking at the streets, the delivery men notice that all the cars in the city are heading in a single direction, creating a chain of scanners that start looking for the fugitives, who are detected within seconds. Now that she knows where her targets are, Yuji sends several combat machines towards the group, and realizing that they won't be able to continue if they are pursued, Watari asks her father to overtake the truck. So the old man speeds off at top speed, distancing himself from the confrontation, and so that she can stop the robotic wheels from attacking her group, the woman starts crashing into her targets, causing the truck to crush the machines. Watari then tries to get rid of the remaining enemies, using the vehicle to block the passage and destroy the evil robots. With this, the group manages to leave the place safely, and after a few minutes of travel, they reach their destination, where Kai reveals that it is her hometown. While talking, the bikers come across Hugo, who reveals that he has the perfect piece of evidence for them to defeat Yuji, and shows them the logbook of illegal deliveries that he obtained from one of Yoshiaki's former prisoners. Despite having essential evidence for the case, Spoke says that no one will believe the group, and Kai says that they can make a direct delivery to the digital ministry so that they can denounce the woman's practices. In the morning, the bikers gather to set off for Tokyo, and after hacking into the bridge systems, the group tries to find the records of the book's owner. In a few minutes, the team manages to gather all the evidence from the scanners, and so that they can upload the information, Yoshiaki orders Kai and Hugo to rush to the scene. So the group splits up into pairs around the city, so that one team can collect the data, while the other delivers the evidence to the digital ministry. While crossing one of the barriers, the bikers end up being detected by the scanners, causing Yuji to send several machines in their direction, so that her teammates can deliver the evidence. Watari takes the box with the data collected, while Spoke tries to lure the vehicles away. In the alleys of the city, Kai realizes that they are being chased by the robotic wheels, and so that she can neutralize them, the young woman uses her hacker skills to manipulate the surrounding vehicles, trapping the machines in one of the trucks. Trying to stop the targets, Yuji begins to manipulate the entire city of Tokyo, transforming the surrounding terrain and changing the route of the roads. Despite this, Kai doesn't give up, and uses her visor technology to find gaps between the expressways, allowing Hugo to escape all the woman's ambushes. Furious at not being able to stop her targets, Yuji begins to enter the holographic map of Tokyo, causing a large section of the road to be completely erased. As a result, the pair of bikers end up falling from a huge height and colliding with one of the trucks. Sometime later, Kai wakes up, and when she comes across the traffic machines scanning the motorcycle, she rushes to stop them, and uses her hacker watch to turn off the robots. Soon after, the young woman runs to Hugo, who is seriously injured, but the mission isn't over yet, and the young man asks his friend to get on his motorcycle and run to the digital ministry as quickly as possible. Without wasting any time, Kai speeds along Tokyo's expressways, while Yuji tries to eliminate her incessantly, manipulating the entire road around her. Enraged, the villain issues an attack alert on the city, causing all units to be directed to the digital ministry. Immediately afterwards, Yuji tries to erect a large wall to stop Kai, who quickly uses her hacker tool to deform the barrier and turn it into a ramp, allowing the young woman to escape yet another ambush. Meanwhile, Hugo ends up being found by the macabre machines, but is suddenly rescued by Amarin Lu, who reveals that she has been contacted by the young biker. On the streets of Tokyo, Kai uses all her hacker skills to manipulate the roads, allowing her to run wild through the city without being intercepted by the authorities. Desperate, the villain tries to crush the young woman with her holographic manipulator, but to no avail, as the girl already has full control of the roads she is traveling on. During the confrontation, Kai manages to cause the entire expressway to start floating in the direction of the ministry, causing Yuji to become totally terrified and try to hold on to the tracks. However, the young woman doesn't let this stop her, and after lining up dozens of trucks in the middle of the road, she creates a huge robotic ramp, which allows her to reach the building. With that, Kai makes a huge leap towards Yuji, causing her to land in the woman's room and completely destroy the place. When she gets up, the villain realizes that the young woman is using her robotic watch to upload the evidence, and as much as she tries to stop her, the information ends up being sent to the ministry, which receives all the records collected at the barriers. Thanks to this, the entire region returns to its original form, and despite being tried in court, Yuji ends up being fired, as she had a very high position of trust. As a result, the woman is acquitted of her sentence, allowing her to leave the city forever. Finally, Kai and Amarin become the newest members of the Suma garage, where they make various deliveries and races throughout Tokyo. So what did you think of this series? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more series recaps. See you next time.